Hello friends, welcome to the Viva Voice of Anatomy. Today we will discuss the urinary bladder part 1. Urinary bladder is a muscular bag which acts as a reservoir of a urine which empties through urethra. First we see the position of the urinary bladder. It is different in the adult and the children. And in the adult further it is different, the position is different when it is empty and when it is full. Now in the adult, when it is empty, it is a pelvic organ. It lies within the pelvic cavity, and when it will get full, it will become abdominopelvic organ. In the children, the bladder, whether empty or a full, it is a abdominopelvic organ because in the children the pelvic cavity is small. Now its location. In the pelvic cavity, urinary bladder lies most anteriorly just behind the pubic symphysis. Now we talking about its shape. When it is empty, as in this specimen, it is a tetrahedral in the shape. Tetrahedrals means the structure which is having a 4 sides, and when it is get full, it will become the ovoid in the shape. Now discuss about the capacity. The average capacity is, it range from 120 to 320 ml in the adult. So the mean capacity will be 220 ml. Now when the bladder gets urine up to 100 to 150 ml, the person feels a sensation of filling of the bladder. When it gets filled from 150 to 250 ml, there is a first desire for the maturation, and when the capacity increase more than the 450 ml, the person will feel the painful sensation, and more than the 800 ml capacity, it is beyond a voluntary control. Why this value? We can say differentiate the anatomical and the physiological capacity. What is anatomical capacity? It is the volume of the urine just before the rupture of the bladder, right? So above the 800 ml, the person will not lose the voluntary control. So beyond that, up to 200 ml, beyond that, so more than the 1 liter is the anatomical capacity. That much of the urine bladder can accommodate before it get ruptured. That is the anatomical capacity, more than 1 liter. What is physiological capacity? Physiological capacity is the capacity at which the person will not feel a discomfort. So that is up to 250, ranges from the 250 to 450 ml. Beyond the 450 ml, we have seen the person will feel the painful sensation. So up to the 450 ml, 250 ml, there is a desire for the maturation, and up to 450 ml, it is a physiological capacity. Now we see the external feature of the urinary bladder. When it is empty, it is having an apex, a base, or a posterior surface, or a fundus. Apart from the base, it is having 3 surfaces, superior surface, 2 inferolateral surface, and the 4 border, that is anterior border, 2 lateral border, a posterior border, and last part, that is a neck, the most dependent part. Now in the full bladder, the bladder will become ovoid in the shape, having an anterior-inferior surface, posterior-superior surface, 2 lateral surface, a summit, a base, and the neck. We discuss the relation and the feature of an empty bladder. The first thing, that is the apex. The apex lies most anteriorly in the pelvic cavity, just behind the superior border of the pubic symphysis. The apex provides the attachment of a median umbilical ligament. Okay, so this is an apex. Exact opposite to the apex lies the base. The base is also known as a posterior surface or a fundus of a bladder. So this is the base. Now the base is triangular in the shape. The superior part of the base is covered by the fold of the peritoneum in the male, which gets separated, which separate the base of a bladder from the rectum, and this fold of the peritoneum is known as a rectovesical pouch. Okay. Now the lower part in the male, the lower part of the base of the bladder is not covered by the peritoneum. It is a non-peritoneum and it is known as an external trigone. Now we see the relation of a base of the bladder. In the male, we have seen the upper part is related with the peritoneal fold, that is a rectovesical pouch, whereas the lower part here, this is the lower part, you can see the lower part is it is related to the pair of the seminal vesicles and the terminal part of the ductus deferens. Okay. Now in the female, this two structure is absent and instead it is related with a vagina and the uterine cervix. That is the relation of the base in female. So this is the base. Now we see the surface. The base itself is a surface, but apart from the base, the bladder is having a three surface, one superior surface and two inferolateral surface. The superior surface is a triangular in the shape. Anteriorly it is having an apex, posteriorly there is a posterior border, and on the each side it is related to the lateral border of the bladder. Superior surface is covered by the peritoneum and it is related with a fold of coils of a jejunum and the sigmoid colon, and in the female additionally near the posterior border it is related to the supravaginal part of a uterine cervix. So this is the superior surface. Now talking to inferolateral surface, this one. Two inferolateral surface is separated from each other by the anterior border, and these two surface separated from the superior surface by a right and the left lateral border. Relation of the inferolateral surface, it is related to the pubic bone, puboprostatic ligament in the male, pubovesical ligament in female, then retropubic fat, levator ani muscle and obturator internus muscle. So this is a inferolateral surface. Now talking about the borders. The empty bladder, it has a four border. The first is the anterior border, posterior border, and the right and the left lateral border. Anterior border separate the two inferolateral surface. It extends from the base of the urinary apex of the urinary bladder to the neck. Posterior border, this is the posterior border, it separates the superior surface from the base. Posterior border. And on the side of the posterior border, this is the side of the posterior border. Okay, from the east side, the two ureter, these are the ureter, right and the left, enter into the base of a urinary bladder. Okay, so this is the marking for identifying the posterior border, entry of the two ureter. Last is a lateral border, right and the left lateral border. It separates the superior surface from the inferolateral surface. Okay. Now talking about the neck. Neck is a fixed and the most dependent lowest part of a bladder from which urethra begins. It lies 3 to 4 centimeters behind the lower end of the pubic symphysis. In the male, it is related with the base of the prostate, and in the female, it is related to the superficial fascia of a urogenital diaphragm. So this is a external feature of an empty bladder and its relation. Now we see the ligament of a urinary bladder. It having two type of the ligament. One is a true ligament and the second is a false ligament. First we discuss about the true ligament. True ligaments of a urinary bladder are 9 in number. Some are the pair and some are the unpaired. Only one is unpaired. The unpaired ligament is a median umbilical ligament. Median umbilical ligament is a developmental in nature. it is nothing but the remnant of an embryonic urachus, and it extends from the apex of the urinary bladder to the interior of internal surface of a umbilicus, median umbilical ligament. Rest of the true ligament, rest of the 8 ligament are a condensation of the pelvic fascia. These are the first puboprostatic ligament. Puboprostatic ligament are 4 in number, 2 on the each side, right and the left. These are the median puboprostatic ligament, lateral puboprostatic ligament on the each side. They are extending from the posterior surface of the body of the pubis bone to the prostate. Now, prostate lies in the male. So, the puboprostatic ligaments only present in the male. But in the female, the puboprostatic ligament is replaced by pubovesical ligament, and they are same in number, medial and the lateral. So these are a second type of the ligament, puboprostatic and pubovesical. The third is a lateral true ligament. Lateral true ligament extending from the side of the urinary bladder to the anterior part of the tendinous arch of pelvic fascia, the lateral true ligament. And last is a posterior true ligament that is extending from the side of the base of the urinary bladder to the lateral pelvic wall on the each side. So these are a true ligament. Now talking about the false ligament of a urinary bladder. First, they are the 7 in the number. Now, what is the false ligament and how it is different from the true ligament? False ligament is nothing but it is a fold of the peritoneum around the true ligament. The first is a median umbilical fold, that is a unpaired. Median umbilical fold is a fold of the peritoneum that lies around a fold. It makes a fold around the median umbilical ligament. That is the unpaired, first one. The second, now onwards, all are the paired false ligament. Second is a medial umbilical fold. Medial umbilical fold lies on the either side of the median umbilical fold. That is a fold of the peritoneum around the obliterated umbilical artery. Third, that is also paired, the lateral false ligament. Lateral false ligament extending from the bladder, side of the bladder to the lateral pelvic wall, like this. Okay, so it forms the fossa. This is known as a paravesical fossa on the side of the urinary bladder, paravesical fossa. And last is a posterior false ligament. The posterior false ligament extends from the lateral angle of a urinary bladder or a base of the bladder to the third sacral vertebrae. Okay, and this will form the sacrogenital form. The sacrogenital fold. So these are the ligaments of the urinary bladder. Bladder is a pelvic organ, and in the pelvic cavity it rests on the certain structure. These structures are known as a bladder bed. These structures are a pubic symphysis anteriorly, the body of the pubis, retropubic fold, the fascia of the levator ani, obturator internus. Posterior-inferiorly, there is an ampulla of a rectum or an anterior wall of the vagina in case of female, and inferiorly there is a base of a prostate in the male or a superior surface of a urogenital diaphragm in the female. So these are the structure forming the bladder bed. Now we see the interior of a urinary bladder. To see the interior, we can cut a lateral border, and we can reflect the superior surface posteriorly, so we can able to see the interior of a urinary bladder. I had already made one specimen which shows the interior of a urinary bladder. See, this is the specimen of the urinary bladder. Okay, here I keep this specimen aside. This is the apex. This is the base, true ureter going through the base into the urinary bladder. I had cut the lateral border, okay, and expose or reflect the superior surface posteriorly, so you can see clearly the interior of a urinary bladder. Okay, so you can see its interior. These are the irregular folds of a mucosa, which is known as a rucae. Okay, so why the mucosa shows the irregular fold? Because the mucosa is not firmly attached to the underlying muscular cords. That's why it forms the irregular fold. Okay, rugae. But there is a one area. See, there is one area. This is the opening of the internal urethral orifice. Just behind and above this area, there is a triangular area. Okay, in this area, the mucosa will not show the fold. Here, in this area, the mucosa is very tightly attached to the underlying muscular cord, and this area is known as a trigone of a bladder or a trigone vesica. Now we see the feature of the trigone vesica. The trigone vesica is related internally to the lower part of a base of the urinary bladder, right? See. So now we see the feature. The trigone is facing, it is directed downward and the forward in this direction. Okay, the most antero-inferior angle, which is known as the apex. Antero-inferior angle shows the opening of the internal urethral orifice. Okay, now its posterior-superior angle, you can see the small two orifice here. Posterior-superior angle. These are the orifice of a two ureter, right and the left. These are known as a ureteric orifice at the posterior-superior angle. Now, if you see the area between these two orifice, interureteric orifice, you can see one ridge, clear line, elevated line. This is known as an interureteric ridge or a bar of Mercier, which form the base of the internal trigone. This elevation is produced because the longitudinal muscle cord of a two ureter is continuous in this area. Right? Now literally from the ureter, ureteric opening to the urethra, there is another small bar which is elevated area, which is known as a uretro-urethral bar or a Bill's bar. Uretro-urethral bar. Okay, so this is a feature of a internal trigone or a trigone vesica. Yes, last part, just behind the internal urethral orifice, there is a small elevated area here. In this specimen, it is not so much demarcated, but here there is a small elevated area which is known as a uvula vesica, which produced by a underlying median lobe of a prostate in case of the male. So this is the interior of a urinary bladder. Now we see the blood supply of the urinary bladder. First, the arterial supply. The bladder gets its arterial supply mainly from the superior and the inferior vesical arteries, which are the branches of anterior division of internal iliac artery. Apart from this artery, it also gets its blood supply from the obturator artery and the inferior gluteal artery. And in female, additionally, will get blood supply, arterial supply from the vaginal and the uterine arteries. Now the venous drainage, the vein draining a bladder from the plexus around the inferolateral surface, that is known as a vesical venous plexus, and this plexus passes backward to the posterior ligament of the bladder to drain into internal iliac veins. Now it communicates in the male with the prostatic venous plexus and in the female with the veins at the base of the broad ligament of a uterus. So this is all about the urinary bladder part 1. In the part 2, we will discuss about a nerve supply and the applied anatomy of the urinary bladder, which two things are correlated. Thank you very much.
If you like our video, click on the like button and share with your friends. To get the regular updates on anatomy video by Viva Voice of Anatomy, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon.